We're back on the record in People versus Robert Winburn, 17654 FC.
Michael Doby for the People.
Karen Grunhout here on behalf of Mr. Winburn, also known as Scott Libby. I do see that his name is still up, but I do not see him. I don't know if his camera's turned off or if he is no longer in the room.
I don't know. Do you see Mr. Winburn anymore? There he is. Okay, Mr. Winburn, your device is muted. Someone there will need to unmute your device. Ms. Grounhout, I understand you have a motion.
Yes, Your Honor. And I don't know that my client has received it. I did send it to him through a JPay earlier today. However, I don't know his access with regard to it, but I am motioning the court to withdraw as counsel for the defendant. There's been a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship to the extent that the public defender's office can no longer zealously represent the defendant. The defendant has written to the press alleging misconduct between myself and the court. The defendant has threatened to slit his throat in protest of my office's representation of him in the above captioned matter. He has sent correspondence to my office that I believe to be a viable threat against myself, that because of this perceived threat, I feel that it's impossible to communicate effectively with the defendant in the case. We cannot have attorney-client communications via mail, Zoom, or in person, and I certainly don't feel as though I can sit next to him during the trial at this time, and therefore I would ask that I be removed from the case.
Mr. Doby.
Thank you, Your Honor. I take no position on Ms. Grono's motion and leave it to the court.
Well, at this point, I have a good faith basis to believe that Mr. Winburn may not be competent. I do handle the mental health docket, and I do take threats of suicide seriously. When we have a person who is threatening to slit their throat over protestation of an attorney's representation. And I do have to say on the record that I think Ms. Grounhout and her office has done a splendid job in representing Mr. Winburn. She has been very professional, very ethical, and we were so close to being able to get this case tried in 2 weeks. We're just 2 weeks away from our trial date, roughly the 13th. So I am loath to grant the motion, but I must grant the motion. I cannot require this able, competent attorney to abide by what's going on. And as I said, I now have a good faith basis for believing that Mr. Winburn is not competent to stand trial. So unfortunately, I am referring him of the court's own volition to the Center for Forensic Psychiatry for another competency evaluation. I understand that he had one that was probably a couple of years ago now, but I do believe that he has decompensated to the extent that he can no longer effectively assist in getting his case tried. He knows that I will not allow him to represent himself because of what happened when he tried to do so and we had a mistrial, and his conduct in the courtroom just spirals out of control. So your motion is granted, Ms. Grounhout. If you would please submit an order, we will appoint the next person who comes up on the list through the appointments office. You know, the court isn't handling the appointments anymore, so they're going to have to find another attorney for Mr. Winburn, and we will actually, Mr. Doby, can your office prepare that order for the competency evaluation?
Yes.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. I'm somewhat short-staffed here, so is there anything further, Ms. Groenhout?
No, only that I did submit an order for withdrawal along with my motion, so that should be in the files.
Okay, I will look for that. And thank you again for your service to this defendant and accepting the appointment. And I don't recall your associate's name who previously was engaged. I thought he was very professional and competent as well. So if you would also give my thanks to him as well.
I will do so. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. And that concludes this hearing. And trial is off for the 13th, of course. I need to set a date for the competency hearing, and I will set that like 60 days out. Although they may not have the report done, we can set that for August 18th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At 1:30. Thank you.